My stance is that from a player perspective, there has never been a better time to start a new account in Star Trek Fleet Command than right now, the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. I have seen a huge influx of new players, and a lot of them want to know, how do I level up fast in Star Trek Fleet Command? I think part of this stems from the fact that in most games that are out there on the market right now, there's some sort of end game that you level up your characters, you get there, and then you start experiencing all this other content with other players that have made it to end game as well. Star Trek Fleet Command is very different than those other games. The journey from level 1 all the way up to 60, which is the current cap, who knows what it'll be by the time that you're playing this game, is the actual game itself. The experiences that you have every month with your alliance mates, your friends, etc. in the game as new officers are released, new ships come out, new game mechanics get added, things like that. That is the actual game, and most of that becomes available to you about the time that you hit operations level 35. There's not a huge reason to go push all the way up to 60. It's very hard to do anyways. So if that's why you clicked on the video thinking, I really need to just go ahead and level up so I can do X, Y, or Z, hopefully you feel a little bit better about that, because you have access to a lot of the game by the time you hit operations level 35 currently. Don't just take our word for it. In a recent live stream we did, we asked the chat if they thought it was a good idea to go ahead and just push your operations level as fast as possible, and here's kind of what they thought about that. Most people will definitely deter you from trying to level up as fast as possible in the game. Instead, you should be trying to be the strongest that you can be at your operations level, the strongest that you can be in your band or pack or whatever you want to call it, your group of similarly leveled players in the game. You want to be the strongest out of all of those. You want to be very competitive in that bracket. But if for some reason you're just trying to set a record for, I don't know, unhappiest Star Trek Fleet Commander in all of history, you just want to try to level up as quickly as possible, then we'll go ahead and make good on why you clicked on the video. We'll tell you how to level up extremely fast in Star Trek Fleet Command. Please understand that this is meant to be comical and in no way actually how you should play the game. This should be extremely obvious, but the very first thing you should do is take every little bit of extra money that you have in your entire life, throw it at the game so that you can go ahead and buy more resources, more materials, so you can keep pushing that operations level as fast as possible. You're not going to be able to do very many of your events or dailies or things like that to go ahead and get it, so you're going to have to spend real life money to be able to go ahead and get there as quickly as possible. Now, the only way to actually level up in Star Trek Fleet Command is to increase the level of your operations building. That's what it actually means. That level that you see next to people's names, that's the level of their operations building all the time without exception. So some tips to just level up as quick as humanly possible and ignore all the rest of the game, no matter what the repercussions actually are, is to take that research queue and just forget about it entirely. If the game doesn't make you research something so that you can progress that operations level in some capacity, then just ignore it. If for some reason you just can't stand the fact that it's sitting there doing absolutely nothing for you, then probably it's a good idea to go ahead and pick up some sort of efficiency research. So if you ever come out of your madness, your insanity, you can actually have some sort of hope of clawing your way out of this abyss that you're digging for yourself and actually enjoy the game at some point in time. But otherwise, you can safely ignore it. Speaking of ignoring things, any officer that you get, you can safely ignore those. Don't worry about ranking them up. Don't worry about leveling them. You probably will quit the game long before you figure out what any of them do anyways. So don't worry about your officers. No, they're not going to take any of your resources and materials that you need to actually level up in the game. But why bother worrying about that if you're just going to go try to push as far forward in the operations level as you can? You're going to be super weak anyways. Doesn't matter. Now, your ships aren't really going to matter much either. And those will actually take away from your resources and materials that you need to just keep banging away at that operations building and level up as fast as possible. So if at all possible, don't worry about your ships. Don't do anything with them. Your officers are going to be super weak anyway, so it doesn't really matter what you put them on. But if we're ignoring our research and we're ignoring our officers, then what do we actually work on in the game? Well, the only thing you should ever be pushing for is your operations level. That's the only thing that matters. That is your level. If you're just trying to hit that highest level that you can before you give up on the game, then just focus entirely on that operations building. Every time you complete some sort of construction in the game, just go click on it again, see what the little yellow button is that says that you need to upgrade this to progress. Click on it to go to that next building, keep going down the line, figure out what it is, and go ahead and upgrade that, and only that. Don't worry about anything else. A lot of the times it'll be your shipyard or your dry docks or your defense platforms. These things will slow you down from being able to level up your account and get to where higher and higher level people have access to beating you up, cracking your base, stealing your resources, blowing up your ships, and all around keeping you from being able to do your missions and things like that. Not that you really have a snowball's chance to be able to finish your missions anyways, because you don't have ships, you don't have officers, and your research is extremely weak. But don't worry about that. It's everybody else's fault. They're bullying you. You didn't make a conscious choice to make your account as weak as humanly possible by ignoring all the other wisdom out there on the internet, and you're just focusing on your operations level here. But if you do these things, then you will be well on your way to increasing your operations level all the way up to, like, I don't know, level 18 before you just give up on the game entirely because you hate it, you hate your life, you don't like logging into it, you can't do any of your missions, you can't do any of your events. Like, somebody walks by and sneezes on you and you blow up. You probably uninstall the game after you leave it like a 1-star review on wherever you got it from. But at least you got to the end of the game fast, which is the whole point, right? Is that you're just trying to get to the end of the game, wherever that is for you, faster than other people get to the end of the game. So congratulations, I guess you've won Star Trek Fleet Command because you got to the highest level you could stand and you quit before other people did. So good for you. Now, if you do want to know how to actually enjoy the game, then check out like literally any other Star Trek Fleet Command video on this channel here. Not just our own content, but down in the description below, there are links to all sorts of other Star Trek Fleet Command content creators that have great videos and can teach you how to actually enjoy the game, get the most out of it, and really be efficient and take the game slow, savor it, and enjoy the game that all of us have enjoyed and try to give back to. So if you're a new player, we hope that you enjoy the game while you play it. We hope that you don't listen to anything else that was said in this video at all. If you're an existing player, hopefully you got a laugh out of it. Hopefully you can point people that are just constantly being like, I need to level up to get X or Y or Z unlocked. Point them to this video so we can kind of make fun of ourselves together, because I think almost all of us have been there at some point in time. I know for the longest time, I was trying to get to this operations level so I could unlock this research, or to this operations level so I had access to this level Armada Control Center, or whatever it was that I was just continuously trying to push forward on my operations level. I got weaker and weaker. The game got to be more of a drag. I wasn't enjoying it as much, and really it was pretty much my fault at the end of the day. So we hope that nobody else gets in that position. But the cliff notes are: work on all your efficiency research when it comes up. Take the game nice and slow. Do not level up until you feel like it is way past time to do it. Focus on your officers that are important. Make sure you're doing your away teams. Don't neglect those either. Get your ships as strong as you can get them at your current operations level, just to make sure that your dailies are nice and easy. All of the events that come around, you're able to complete with ease. You don't feel like you have to be on the game for hours and hours and hours on end to be competitive. That's the secret to it, is to take it nice and slow. Realize there's no end game. It's all about the journey. Thank you so much to all of our supporters who make everything we do here possible. Choose to live, my friends, and we'll see you again soon.